Hi, this is Ruth Theresa about, oh my gosh, psychic abilities, and really talk about it in just a little bit. But like, are psychic abilities inherited from your family, or is it in? Really want to know what you think about all of this. I promo on Instagram, Facebook, and here we go. Heather's already telling me that the video is cutting out a little bit on post my Instagram. So I so apologize. And we have one that will go out. You can join me on Instagram. I think a lot of it has to do, they're rewiring my neighborhood for optic. One of those technical terms. And the other part is, sorry. It's kind of crazy. So let me know what you think. Do you think psychic abilities are inherent that we bring in from our past lives? I'm so sorry. The thing is that when I looked at YouTube last week, it was fine. It looked fine, and the like Karen is saying, I would. So one of the things that everybody has their own psychic abilities, even if they use, and I'm going to do technology to explain them. So everybody, to me, and some people are less connected to it, and it doesn't mean that's the way it is. And so when people found out I became a grandma in sorry, Misty, if I know, I posted my Instagram. I'm sorry if you have. I'm so sorry. I'm tired of all of this crazy stuff, and me crazy. Join me on Instagram. Abilities are something that I believe everybody has. Now, I do believe for a reason they're more connected to their psychic abilities. Talk about it, or we'll talk about like, well, grandma always has this great intuition, or grandma feels something, or mom feels something, and they completely understanding any of it. It's one of those, they're more open to it, and those are the people that use their psychic abilities, but they're not the only ones. Connected in many different ways and many different. Grandson came along, people were asking me, well, does he have psychic abilities and that sort of thing. Everybody has psychic abilities. Now, he will probably more connected to his psychic abilities because he has a grandmother that does this for a living and talks to people all the time, and so he's already been in a family that we talk about our psychic abilities. I felt this and intuition and that sort of thing. Even if it's one of those, he's around a grandparent that talks about it and kind of like just waves and kind of like and that sort of thing. Now, one of the things that Oh, if you have Instagram, just copy and paste it or go to Instagram and search my company name. So it's One Inspiring Woman _ Ruth Theresa. But my company name is One Inspiring Woman on Instagram. So if you find that there, it's one of those search bar and click on it, and it should bring it right up. Do live readings, I guess, or I'm kind of like, are you asking if I'm doing live readings tonight? It's one of those, I clicked on it and can't find your live. If y'all still have problems at the end, I posted that out to YouTube like a day or so later. So, but it's one of those, so psychic abilities come a lot of times where people feel like they don't have psychic abilities, come in and they'll, as a child, they'll tell their parents like, or I saw Aunt so-and-so holding a baby later that they are pregnant. So a lot of times, like in families, when people react to scary and it's, oh my gosh, that can be very overwhelming for a lot of people. So I'm going to call you Miss Credit. That's just the base. Get you scheduled. I do have some openings, I think on Saturday, a little those fun ones, yay. But I will tell you kind of the thing of some families will kind of like only say that Sheila, hello Miss Sheila, that only like, that's where I kind of get that question of like, do you believe that psychic tell me like my mom was very intuitive, but I don't things, or I feel things, or I sense things, but completely opposite from comes in of like they do kind of run in family, more runs in family, certain families than others. Sort of kind of like that energy of it. I will that is one of those energies that that's kind of the energy with it. So it's with, I know I'm getting confused because Heather's still having problems logging in. When you have a family that's not open to your abilities, that her great grandmother was got paid for it and everything else in like the early 1900s, and her mom absolutely hated it, hated being around. And I will tell you that's kind of the energy that comes. One family member was like, oh, she says she's psychic, but she's not. And so then they'll shut down their family being open or but everybody has psychic abilities. You will be naturally drawn to something different. Class in like 8 people, I've had 2 clairsensitives, a clairvoyant, a clairaudient, a claircognizant. So not everybody connects in the same way. So even if you're clairvoyant, but another clairvoyant will say, I don't see angels, I only see ghosts. Interpretations of like, what are the abilities and what am I seeing, or how am I connecting into this? Well, I don't see although the ability to see the other side is clairvoyant, no matter what you see on the other side. Being able to see energy, being able to see energy. Some people see energy much easier than others. Some here, but they're not really seeing or sensing that energy thing. A lot of things, psychic abilities, it's one of those, it's more that open. I'll tell you, one of the things that I have found is a lot of people bring in abilities from past lives, and sometimes they also into their past life energy, or like the Salem witch trials or whatever else burned. A lot of times what people will do is they will kind of like, I don't want anything to do with this, but they're kind of like ixnay on the abilities, and so therefore they're not doing it until it's like your abilities are up in your face. That's where you kind of get into that, like, oh my gosh, I really have to deal with kind of that energy. Let's see. Miss Sheila saying, what do you call it when you dream of things? Usually, if you're seeing it, it's still a clairvoyant gift. It is still that Some people, I was talking to a brand new client today, and she has an amazing set of dreams, and hers are always dreams. Things are about to happen, and it's one of those. It's kind of interesting. The out it goes. It may start 6 months or a year and a half before the event happens. So she has like a week to deal with these small things that are going to be coming out, is what she said. So that is kind of one of those like interesting. Or asleep, it doesn't matter. It's still a clairvoyant gift. I think that's kind of one of those interesting. People have like insight into what's going up in their whole lives. I'm one of those. I remember seeing angels and ghosts. It's one of those, the ability to see them is younger, as like they were a regular human, like just a stuff person. They didn't look any different to me at all. They looked exactly. There was no difference between looking at my parents and looking at someone who was just. That was one of those like interesting. Okay, no, Karen's or Sheila's okay. In our dreams and send me messages. Some of the people I don't know. One of the things I used to do, and I don't think I do those videos anymore, but I used to, is I would have almost the same thing, that people that were ghosts would come in and give me. Okay, well, your loved one needs to find me. I'm not going to call like a stranger, cold call someone like, hey, I want to let you know that. Like that. And so I started like pushing them, like if they want a reading from me, a lot, but I used to do videos and kind of put those out, like maybe you're and kind of do it that way. So kind of, I know that sounds like interesting, but a total complete stranger like in the grocery store, and so like, hey, just by the way, your dead grandmother wants you to know blah. If someone did that to me, I would be a little angry. Me in a position where I'm not in the normal setting. I didn't seek you out. Wanted a message from my grandmother or great grandmother or whatever it is, I would have come to you. And it's one of those. Many years ago when I was in Arizona, that had that happen to him, that literally was coming to a group reading of mine, and he stopped for gas because he was like, when we get out of there at 10 o'clock, I don't want to stop then because it's kind of late. So he stopped and filled up with gas before and this lady if you give me $5,000, and he came and told me about it, and I was like, you don't have a curse. Most people that come up to you like that are just wanting money. And a lot out that, oh my gosh, something really bad is about to happen, or this is happening to me, and it's not true. But curses, some people can connect to them much easier than others, but I will tell you, when kind of like you have a curse on you, you probably don't. It's kind of a good way to think about it. So psychic abilities, and like connecting to, I will tell you that a lot of children develop their really young, and as they kind of move to a conscious level, they will actually kind of either connect in more to them depending on what's going on in their childhood, or they could disconnect from them, and it's one of those, and sometimes it's just all on their own, like I'm tired of this, or I'm tired of seeing ghosts and I'm not gonna do that. Some out of that energy, like this is not good for you to react to this or kind of deal with this. They will kind of just like grow out of it, and they never really get back into that energy. So I'll tell you, that's kind of that cool part as well. So it's kind of like, okay, interesting. But I will tell you, we all are connected in. The younger we are, a lot of times it makes it so much easier. It's really kind of one of those, like, we connect in really easy. We do it fluidly. It really, that easy flow to energy that can really help as well. And usually if we're connected, it makes it easier when we try to reconnect or connect back into them. Cool part, I think that is the fun part for most people, and kind of like really wanting to and that's kind of one of those, what planet you were on prior to coming into this life will have psychic abilities that they connected. They will really connect with certain psychic abilities easier than others because it. My daughter actually is really good at telepathic communication, because so she is very easygoing, especially when she was I actually had to stop because she was not literally verbalizing things. Really had to, because telepathic communication is kind of really fun and easy, and it's a much easier communication, like the energy of what you're saying. Of his past life, he tells me that he's been here before. Most people have, I will tell you that most people have a lot more past lives. A lot of times they have been here several times, and kind of connect ones, and usually the places on earth that you'll dream about, sitting in like sixth grade class, and the teacher came in and said, okay, history class, open your page to whatever. So I opened up the book, and when I did, there was, oh my gosh, and literally I got flooded with energy of like felt like I was walking on the grounds and connecting in, and I was just like almost having this like out of body experience. I want to go there. I want to be there. I want to be in that energy. But it was one of those, a lifetime that I was there, and then I had a, like a consultant to the king or queen of like what to do next, or how to deal with this part, or how to deal with this energy, that sort of thing. And so I was very connected to psychic past lives, and being very open and free, very easy to reopen up a lot of those connections that were already really connected to me. I also do psychic yes, psychometric touch can be a really fun connect into the energy. Psychometric touch is like touching something and just picking up the energy that was 100 years ago or whatever it is. I did a video not too long ago. I got this little take to a formal event. It was so adorable. As soon as I touched it, I could feel the person's energy of what are the events that she went to, or he, you know what I'm saying, like how did she feel about it, what was she dressed like, that sort of thing. So I can pick that up, and then so the psychometric visualize it through. So Sheila's asking, what do you call deja vu moments? Deja vu would be something something like usually it comes in our dreams and we don't, and so therefore like when it happens, we're kind of like, oh, I remember this, but I don't remember. Give you the message, the insight of like, this is what's coming up next, or this is how you was like, okay. But you can also have like an out of body experience and actually move forward in time, which makes it not a clairvoyant gift, but kind of like and you actually saw it happen and brought that knowledge back. So event or energy in it. So it's like, interesting. Definitely. And like their psychic abilities, how to kind of like psychic abilities were in their family. Now, psychic, using human terminology, sometimes it's kind of like, where did that come in from? Of energy, and kind of like if you think about it, kind of like, how did grandma say that she saw this, or how did grandma connect to this, or how did so and so deal with this, or how did grandpa dealing with things? Is it more intuitively, or kind of always saying like, instead of using the words in terminology, like my gut feeling is this, it's the same thing, they're just using human terminology. That's a psychic gift called intuition. The premonition, a lot of times it's telling you what's about to happen, and there's a reason why usually they're telling you that it's not just like, oh, you get to see the future, showing you that. There's a reason why they're showing you that. They're at the same mistake again. So it's like they'll show you, we're hoping you're going to make a different decision. So it's kind of like, we're going to go back and repeat this a couple of times until you get it a lot differently than you normally would be. So that can be kind of like, I think that is kind of one of those interesting kind of, depends on where you are. Some people kind of get their day, they'll write it out and be like, I had a client that writes it out a week later, that she'll write it out, and it's good mistakes, but it's not like life altering, like, oh my gosh, I can get around this or deal with this a little bit easier. On to that section of energy. Interesting is a lot of people are on in life, and usually that means either they shut it down or they family, like it wasn't safe to have abilities, or no one liked the abilities, or whatever thing. So they would literally like cut that out. Like, we don't want that ability. We don't want that in our family. That energy of like, wow, this ability is cut it out. I did have an incident where the mom was totally, even her daughter, connected to her abilities, was just like, no, I'll disinherit you, you won't, kind of stuff. And when the daughter came to me, and we were kind of like, why is she so adamant about this? But I got it. It was like the mom had, and it was similar to the Salem witch trials, but it was way further back in time. The king at the time did not want someone to, like, we're about to invade your city and we don't want anybody to know about it. So all of the psychics or whoever said that they might be psychic, or that's when her mom died in a previous life. And because of that, was she could do to get her daughter not interested in this, but her daughter was Sheila's saying, I will tell you that's kind of the energy of it. My throat's a little dry, but I will tell you, it's either talking about are both clairvoyant. Seeing spirits and having dreams are, it doesn't mean that you have to be clairvoyant. It just means that you are probably, they can, like, they know how to fry an egg, I know how to fry an egg, kind of like that simple. A little bit more interesting. I think that's just kind of, I will tell you, listening to your intuition is a really strong, like when that comes up, will probably be like the easy, kind of really open your energy into that realm. A couple of angel cards, one of my favorite things to do. But if you have abilities that you came into this life with, it's one of those, I readings and in classes, is what are my abilities. And that's the fun part about life, is like you get, this one is the card that's popping the most. So I think what this card, love our abilities and really be open to, a lot of times people say like, oh my gosh, I saw a ghost and it really, nah, you should really love seeing ghosts. I love seeing ghosts. It's that kind of like connecting into that energy. So let's see, is this one right? Yes. One of the only ways to focus on amping up your psychic, meditation, because meditation actually focuses your energy. The best way to put it is, on our brain, we have, and the other side is like the thinking side, and usually all day long, should I do here, should I go this, should I get into, should I get gas now? And the spiritual side is like just waiting, annoyed. Meditation, if you meditate, it's one of those, what it's doing is closing down your, and allowing your spiritual side to come up. Yes, I will tell you, Sheila, many people have, doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It's one of the side going, thinking. But that's what our meditation is for. It's allowing the, and the spiritual side to kind of soar. So keep working it. It's one of those, if you're, will be doing sometime between now and the end of the year, I will be doing another beginner issues and problems that is like the best way to do it. And I even had students, and both of them were like, wow, this is really awesome. Talked it all out. We talked about like different types of meditation. Are amazing ways to really connect to your own psyche. Thank you all so much for joining me today, guys, and I know that we'll be talking again soon. You guys have a great week.